Hey guys, SGT here. Thanks for joining us. I'm really excited to have on the phone Chris Duane, aka Silver Shield. How you doing, Chris?
Very good. I am so pumped to be here today. I've been following your work, and you do exceptional work, and I'm glad to be on.
Hey, back at you, man. And as everybody who watches my channel knows, I like to say we are all in this mess together, and we are so glad that you are in our camp because you're a truth teller. You've really been pumping out some amazing articles lately, and I can tell people firsthand how much time that takes. So I want to remind people that kind of your holy grail article on silver was called The Silver Bullet and the Silver Shield, and I'm going to link to that below so people who haven't read it can read it. It's great to share with friends and family to help educate them on all things about why silver is a great way to invest for people right now. Why don't you briefly bring us up to speed on that article, and then we'll move on.
Sure. The whole premise was, I felt that if people knew what I knew about silver, silver would be at $100, $500, $1,000 an ounce. I mean, all the fundamental reasons to be buying physical silver in your possession are dramatic. I really view it as the investment of a lifetime. And the main thesis behind it is that the two big questions I have are people wanting to fight back against this banker corrupt system that we have, and they also think thing that they want to do is protect their family's assets. So I came up with this thesis, the silver bullet, to fight against the corrupt practices of our banking institutions and our government, and the silver shield to protect your assets, your life's work. And the theory is that people's main motivations are greed and fear. So we fear the banks ruining our future, and that we're also greedy. We want to excel and make money. So I laid out a multiple front case. I think there's probably about 50 different reasons on why you should be buying physical silver. Not speculating, not playing the paper markets, not using leverage, buying physical silver in your possession. And they range from everything from financial reasons to geological reasons to historical reasons to moral, spiritual. I laid out every reason that I possibly could on why people should be buying silver, because I realized that not everybody's motivated the same way. So what it ended up being is a very big, large, well-received article, and it's been it's been very well received, and I thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, it's extremely comprehensive. So anybody that hasn't read it, just click on the info section below this video. That'll open up, and you'll be able to click on a link to Chris's article, The Silver Bullet and the Silver Shield. It's a great article to share with friends and family, especially those who are just learning, because it is so comprehensive. Now, Chris, I wanted to talk to you about two important articles that you've just written. The Treasury is coming. The Treasury is coming. I love your title there. It kind of reminds us of Paul Revere's Great Ride. And in the lead line in this article you've written is, it did not take long, but the Treasury has started the thieving. Take it from there, Chris. Explain how important this is that people understand. Now that the debt ceiling has been reached, what are they doing?
I wrote an article probably about a week before that about people's, that they have their 401ks and IRAs, and while I tell people that they need to get out of all paper assets, most people kind of leave their 401ks and IRAs out of that, and to me, that's the holy grail that the government's going to end up thieving. I wrote that if the government can't, I believe they will raise the debt ceiling. I think that's kind of baked in the cake. But for now, just because they've reached their credit limit doesn't mean that they're going to stop doing their profligate ways. But it will not take long for this to turn around, where you could see what they did down in Argentina during their hyperinflation, where they froze people's assets, where they could only take out a couple hundred pesos or dollars out of their accounts while they hyperinflated it away. There's also, in Ireland, they're now starting to tax people's pensions, not on the amount of money that they, the profits that they have, but the total assets sitting in there. So I think they're starting off at 0.6% or 0.06%, and that they're going to tax that. So I tell people, your pensions, your Social Security, your 401k, your IRA, your annuities, all of this is at risk when the dollar becomes desperate, and they will go after that. And you need to take proactive action to divest yourself of all paper assets, and that's why I laid out in this huge article, The Silver Bullet and the Silver Shield, that we're looking at a mathematically inevitable worldwide fiat currency collapse, and all paper assets are going to die, and that you need to be in physical, real, tangible assets. To me, I feel silver is the best investment, but there's certainly other opportunities out there.
Now, one thing that I want to just make mention of, too, as we all know that this unbelievable, quote-unquote, correction has taken place, and I write that off to what I'm calling manipulation. So is Eric Sprott, so is James Turk. Many of these brightest guys around are referring to the paper manipulation. And when we say that, we're talking about millions and millions, hundreds of millions of ounces of paper silver trading hands in one day. What's your take?
I think it was 8 billion ounces that was traded that 1 week. And worldwide yearly global production is 1 billion ounces. So it's 8 times world production that was traded hands in that 1 week. Between the SLV and the COMEX and all these other funds. That's how much paper was traded during that time. And yet there's only 33 million ounces of physical silver on the registered COMEX. When you look at the multiples and look at the amount of paper manipulation that's in the market, and the fact that they attack the market in the middle of the night when most markets are closed and it was down $6 in 15 minutes, how is that not, blatant outright manipulation?
Well,
and with the COMEX, the COMEX raising their margin rates 5 times in 8 days. That's an unprecedented amount, effectively doubling the cost of holding those paper positions. I try to explain this to my readers. We all understand how the housing bubble blew up. It wasn't because housing prices fell. It was because all these adjustable rate mortgages starting to reset at double the cost of holding on to that essentially long position on your house. People, couldn't afford to do it. So what did they do? They ended up dumping their houses onto the market, and here we are, with this big housing mess. Well, that's exactly what happened, 2 weeks ago when they attacked silver. They raised the cost of all these people who were going long on silver, effectively dumping it, and they were forced out of their positions.
Yeah.
So I said to myself, okay, I get that, and they could also come in with all these naked shorts that they'll never cover. I mean, there's I think 150-day net short position by the 8 largest banks that has just been there forever. Like they never cover that position. They keep rolling it over, and it keeps getting bigger. And yet I looked at the, you'd think with all this massive amount of downside that there would be a lot of more physical silver on the market, and there wasn't. There was less silver, 1.5 million ounces less silver. So anybody who doubts that this isn't just a paper manipulated scam to scare the crap out of people and out of their silver, really needs to relook at this. And I wrote a couple articles about this too.
Yeah, well, and I just want to interject. I was on a conference call that's been posted now with Eric Sprott, Rob Kirby, and David Morgan and others, in which Rob Kirby noted that what happened on that Sunday night was not just a takedown. He describes it as a drive-by shooting. And, Eric Sprott actually concurs. And folks can jump online and find links to that conference call. But you've written an article, too, that is called, "Is That a Light at the End of the Tunnel?" Now, this is about the Hong Kong Mercantile Exchange being open for business. Take it from there, will you, Chris?
This is a very important event that's very underreported. Essentially, the Hong Kong Mercantile Exchange is going to be the first place where Asia can now take physical delivery of gold outside the hands of the Western elite that have basically a dollar stranglehold on all the commodities in the world. I mean, the petrodollar, up until 2008, the only way you could buy oil in the world was in London and New York using dollars.
This concludes part 1. Click here for part 2.